cool down Kahuna with his big deep freeze play. Will Skull split up the T-Bird twins for good? And will Ms. Georgia Haas give terrific Tammy a chance at stardom or send her to the Gators?
T-Birds against Hot Flash, which should be an underdog, but which might benefit from the mental turmoil that the T-Birds are facing. Hello again, everyone, from the Super Roller Dome with David Sams. This is Chuck Underwood asking what seems to be the weekly question, now what?
Mental turmoil it is, Chuck. The bottom line is these T-Birds don't know if they're coming or going. Georgia Haas may be successful at splitting up the T-Bird twins and banning Ralphie from the track. We'll keep our eyes and ears tuned to halftime, or perhaps even earlier when the commissioner makes his official report.
Through the tunnel and into the arena comes Hot Flash.
Well, this team is triumph of style over substance, of glamour over grit. And I'll tell you, Chuck, they are sure pretty in pink.
Well, and there is their manager, Juan Valdez Lopez, gregarious Juan.
Well, he's the straw that stirs the drink, a millionaire many times over. He's the quintessential definition of the ultimate party animal.
He says Mardi Gras is only a step in the right direction. Interesting thought about Hot Flash, David. Their men are very experienced in this sport. The women are a string of rookies and second-year skaters.
But they sure look good.
As does trackside reporter Shelly Jamison.
Carefree Hot Flash coach Juan Valdez Lopez let me in on tonight's pregame pep talk. He says there's a big-time Hollywood producer in the audience. So I bet Hot Flash is going to be playing to the cameras more than they will the Thunderbirds. I don't know, we'll see. But they're really in for the glamour. You gotta love them. They want to be famous. Here comes the Thunderbirds.
The Thunderbirds, the team that has always dreamed of peace on earth and goodwill toward men, women, and managers. But in this league, David, they can't seem to find it.
Well, their honorable history can be traced back some 30 years, but it now looks as though the T-Bird dynasty is facing potential devastation. And this man, Ralphie Valadares, the living legend, well, Chuck, it looks as though he may have to hang up his skates for good because that scum of the earth, Ms. Georgia Haas, is trying to ban him from the track. She says that if he is to enter the Hall of Fame, that he can no longer be an active skater, and that would be devastating to the T-Birds.
Well, that's the off-the-track update. Now tonight on the track, David, who are you going to be watching most closely?
I can't wait to see the two greats on the wall of death, the two emerging rookies of the year, potential candidates. That's Cass and Stars and Stripes.
Quickly now, the rules of this sport. 4 skaters from each team are on the track at any one time. The whistle by referee Don Lastra begins a 45-second scoring cycle, and only the guys in the helmets, the jetters, can score. They both head up what is known as the jetway. That's Kahuna, Jerry Reese, and Matt Bickham, Stars and Stripes.
That's someone, Stars and Stripes.
They both got above the 6-point line on the wall of death. They both got 2 on the jet jump. Now they'll try to get individual points by passing individual opponents. Stars and Stripes trying to get around Iceman Harold Caldwell. Kahuna trying to catch up. And by passing all those pink jerseys and tapping his helmet, Stars and Stripes stops the cycle early and prevents Kahuna from scoring.
Oh, come on! How can you do that? That's anti-American, that kind of a play.
That's Kahuna working on Stars and Stripes.
Stars and Stripes, the all-American kid. Chuck, you know, he is so wonderful. He actually brings 25 kids to every game at his expense. And there's the T-Bird lineup. Look how deep it is there. Stars and Stripes number 4. Icebox right behind him. And, of course, the anchor is Ralphie Valadares, the living legend.
Well, you saw Juan Valdez Lopez ogling our Shelly Jamison. He has a way of turning the infield into a tailgate party. He is watching his lead jetter, Hot Wheels Billy Marshall, get 2 on the wall of death, as does Speedy Gonzalez behind him. Both men get 2 on the jump. Speedy winds up and sends Billy to the rail, loses his helmet. Now some good blocking by number 2, Billy Bob Bibbas. And Speedy Gonzalez is passing those pink jerseys and getting the single points. Pretty boy Ben Newberg is teetering on the rail. And look at Speedy go underneath Kahuna. He stops the cycle as Kahuna's attempted flying hip block misses by a mile, and Speedy celebrates.
The Kahuna's throwing a fit. He's not too happy about that play.
23-12, a quick, substantial lead for the T-Birds. And here they go. It is a night in the life of RollerGames. Kahuna and Stars and Stripes.
Let me guess Don Lastford's words. Come on, boys, break it up.
One of the less enviable tasks in the sport. There's Stars and Stripes. Hails from the San Francisco Bay Area. We're not sure where that guy hails from.
What are you calling a puncher, eh? You little greasehead. All right. What you do, you with group. You know what to do. Arriba casa. Arriba. No more.
Be happy, be happy. And he is. He has a new jetter. It is pretty boy Ben Newberg. He is going to be in the black helmet and ahead of Dynamite Daryl Davis, the little 5'4" guy who, like the jetter ahead of him, gets 2 on the wall of death and another deuce for each as they come across the jet jump. Dynamite Daryl tried to wind up on Pretty Boy, but it didn't work. Number 2 is Billy Bob Bibas. He is the rear blocker trying to hold back Pretty Boy from scoring points by passing Billy Bob's teammates in the red, white, and blue. Excellent rear blocker. There he goes working on the Iceman, Harold Caldwell ahead of him, and then back to Pretty Boy, and then ahead to Iceman, and then back again to Pretty Boy, and ahead to the Iceman. He's clearing house, and his jetter, Dynamite Daryl, didn't even get back on the track. There he is, just now reaching.
Here's a look at the Hot Flash starting lineup, led by the boss man, Kahuna from Hawaii, the former college halfback, and Cass McEntee, nicknamed after the legendary cowboy, Butch Cassidy.
Well, look at him go, as we will show you again how the scoring is done.
On the wall of death, you get 6 points if you take 3 big strides above the top line, 2 between the first and the second. And on the jump, if you get over that big 12-foot marker, it's 6 points, behind it 2 points, and if you land safely, you also get 2.
That was a good scoring cycle for the Hot Pink of Hot Flash. They had trailed by 12. They have now narrowed the gap as the whistle begins a new 45-second scoring cycle. We are still in the first period here in the Super Roller Dome. The women will be skating the second and third. Men come back in the fourth. Lead jetter in the pink is Kahuna, Jerry Reese. Behind him, Speedy Gonzalez. 2 each on the wall of death, and 2 as you see Speedy go down. 2 on the jump they both got. Red, white, and blue jerseys are hitting the deck. That's the Ice Man dropping the ice box. Ralphie Valadares is trying to run away from the blockers. He now has Kahuna behind him. Can he keep him from passing? There's the block.
Legend.
Oh, and he rolls the rail and hits the deck hard. And the cycle stops, but again, Hot Flash advances and now trails the T-Birds by only 5.
Chuck, I just noticed that the commissioner has entered the infield and is now talking to Shelly Jamison. We'll get a few comments from him in just a second, but there you see Ralphie Valadares, the living legend. He is now at the center of controversy and possibly at the end of his career because Ms. Georgia Haas is trying to ban him from the track for good.
This is, in all likelihood, the final cycle of the first period. The jetters are Kahuna, his 3rd in a row. Does he have enough legs to get up the wall? He's got to be tired, you betcha. And look at Stars and Stripes. 6 points for Stars and Stripes on both the wall and the jump. He maxes out. Rear blocking by the ice box, and look at Matt Bickham cut through those pink jerseys. Trying to get around the Iceman now.
That ice box is immovable, isn't he?
357 pounds worth. Kahuna can't get past him, so he just kind of deposits his head on the rail and moves on. Meanwhile, Stars and Stripes cutting in and out, getting around Cass McEntee and rolling him to the concrete. Under 3 seconds left in the cycle, a final whip, but he'll get no more points. It was a good one, and that will indeed conclude the first period as Stars and Stripes rolls up the points. And again, for the second time this period, is being strangled by Kahuna.
Throw the boss man, Kahuna, to the penalty pod. That's just way too much. There's no room for that kind of violence in this game.
Well, there's a woman who agrees.
Well, Shelley has just interviewed the commissioner, and soon we'll find out the outcome on the big controversy. Will Ralphie Valadares have to hang up his skates for good? And will the T-Bird twins be split up? Let's find out from the commissioner.
I've assigned a special blue-ribbon panel to do an in-depth study, and they must have that study and the final decision on my desk within 30 days for the league to vote on. However, in the meantime, I have the stipulations as have to be carried out. The first thing is The T-Bird team is on probation and banned from TV games for 30 days.
No.
Number 2, Ralphie is suspended from further skating activity. And number 3, the T-Bird twins will be separated and report to the maniacs and the violators who drafted them as individuals in the first place. Now, Shelley, I'd just like to point out, these rulings are temporary pending the receipt of the final blue ribbon panel report. I hope that they get it to us right away so that we can get this thing over once and for all.
No! You can't do that, Chuck!
Well, ultimately it'll be decided by the managers, and those 3 on the top are generally against Ralphie and the twins, and those on the bottom are for.
Oh, that's anti-American. You cannot split up the twins, and this poor man, the living legend, he cannot hang up his skates. This game will never be the same.
With the ladies coming up next, Hot Flash trails the T-Birds by 15. You'll also hear from Wally George. He's mad at somebody.
And of course, DC Getchell will be rocking the house with Rock and Roller Games. Stay with us.
We're back in the dome. Fire and lightning off the track and on it. There go the women of the T-Birds, and Hot Flash. Hot Flash trails the T-Birds by 15. Jetting in this first 45-second scoring cycle will be Gina Go-Go Gonzalez, getting a whip from Jennifer Van Gelder, who is one of the principals in the controversy. Go-Go gets 2 points on the wall, so does Irish Mary Monahan behind her, and they both get 2 on the jet jump, and now they go for the individual points.
You just can't split up those twins. Jennifer Van Gelder and her sister Christine, they've been together since the very beginning, since day 1, since hour 1, since second 1, and now Georgia Haas is trying to split them up and send them to the maniacs and the violators, and it would just be disgusting, Chuck.
Look at the rear blocking by Electric Randy Whitman, keeping all 4 pink jerseys behind her. Nicely done by Electric Randy. She is a key element in the T-Bird lineup.
Here's a look at that T-Bird lineup, and as you see there, number 5, Jennifer Van Gelder, the T-Bird twin. This may be her last game as a T-Bird.
There is Electric Randy, a veteran radiant skater and part of the grudge to watch tonight.
Yeah, keep an eye on beautiful. That's Irish Mary right there, and Electric Randy. 2 beauties in this sport and 2 absolute pros on the track.
The corker, Debbie McCorkle, is the lead jetter for the T-Birds. Behind her, sassy Gina Valadares. 2 each on the wall of death, and over the jump, none for McCorkle because she goes down. Gina Valadares does get 2. Now she comes up upon rear blocker Skinny Minnie, and she'll play it cautious. Skinny Minnie is an excellent rear blocker and also rapidly becoming, I think, David, a national favorite.
She sure is. This crowd absolutely loves her. She's received probably more fan mail. Well, no, I think Dara, the star of the Rockers, has received the most fan mail so far, but Skinny Minnie is close behind.
Skinny Minnie gets cleared out of the way, so Gina there is able to get a few more points for her Hot Flash.
Gina Valadares, number 3, the daughter of the living legend, and if Georgia Haas has her way, it looks as though Gina Valadares may be the only Valadares remaining on the track. And that would be a big blow to this sport. Not that Gina isn't good, because she is great, but her father deserves to carry on the family tradition along with his daughter. I just don't see Ralphie giving up his skates. I can't see it. This sport will never be the same.
Well, Ralphie and his T-Birds lead by 11, so Hot Flash is pulling closer. Electric Randy Whitman getting a whip and heading for the wall of death, and right behind her is Lightning Laura Stafford. 2 each on the wall, likewise on the jump. And now Electric Randy is laying back, I think, keeping an eye out for Lightning Laura. Yep, there's the block, and Lightning Laura not ready for it, goes over the rail, down to the concrete. And now Electric Randy faces the human fence of Irish Mary and Sassy Gina. On a second try, she can't get through, and if she ever does, she'll get a couple of quick points. Third time a charm?
Oh!
Yes!
Yes!
With
Yes!
2 seconds left in the cycle, Randy scores her points. Accomplished dancer in ballet and jazz. Could have joined Ice Capades as an ice skater. Tremendous talent, Electric Randy Whitman.
And oh my, Chuck, if they lose those 2 twins, the pressure is going to be on Electric Electric Randy to, well, really deliver twice as much power out there on the track, because this T-Bird women team will be down to 4 women.
Yep, and you normally need a few on the infield just to give each other a bit of a physical breather. We're in the second period. It's Irish Mary Monahan trailing Gina Go-Go Gonzalez up the wall. They each get above the 2-point line on the wall. They get 2 on the jump. Irish Mary nailing Go-Go, and look at her go. Trying now to catch up to the power guards, past the red, white, and blue jerseys. The rear blocker is Skinny Minnie. Can she get around her? Skinny Minnie holds her and is wrestling her. She loses her helmet on that forearm block, and Skinny Minnie nearly loses her stomach as she hits the rail. Under 5 seconds, Irish Mary cutting in and out, and it is an excellent scoring cycle for Hot Flash, and they needed it. Irish Mary, majoring in child psychology in college right now when she's not skating. There she is. Look at the bench. Party Patty Frazier, Pretty Boy, Billy Marshall, the Iceman's #1, so is Cass, and there's Kahuna.
From the streets of Hollywood they come. That's Team Hot Flash, super stylish, blow-dried warriors. And Chuck, they are putting up a good fight tonight against the T-Birds.
There in the pink hair is Sly Fox, Vicky McEwen. And there are the twins enjoying a happy moment despite all that's swirling about them.
That's Jennifer on your left, Christine on your right. It would be a shame to see those two split up.
Electric Randy is the jetter they're watching for the T-Birds. Both women barely get 2 points. Vicky McEwen knocked off balance by Electric Randy, and she skins the cat and gets right back on the track rather than falling to the concrete below. Electric Randy. A lot of blockers ahead of her. She has to go some in order to reach those pink jerseys and pass them. Somebody needs to throw a block. This looks more like a marathon race. Under 10 seconds, Gina Valadares is railed. Look at Randy go as another and still another pink jersey is knocked off stride. And in the final seconds, Electric Randy widens the gap for her T-Birds as we have reached the end of the second period.
Stay with us. Wally George is coming up, and he's mad. He's real mad. And he's going to be interviewing the trio responsible for trying to pluck the bird's feathers.
Wally George here at Roller Sports Central. Well, it seems impossible, but the living legend, Ralphie Valadares, may have to hang up his skates forever if he's to make it into the Hall of Fame. And the T-Bird twins may also have to give up their skating and return to their former waitressing jobs. It's all up to the big league vote, the 6 teams of the league that now control the destiny of Ralphie and the twins. Right now, the vote is 3-4 and 3 against. Joining us live via satellite are Guru Drew, Skull, and Ms. Georgia Haas, the unholy 3, who would like to ban these fine T-Bird skaters. Georgia, how in the world could you do this?
First of all, again, it is Ms. Georgia Haas. We only need 1 more vote. And between Juan Valdez Lopez and DJ Trignell, we will get that vote.
Now, wait a minute. I can't believe that you 3 have nothing better to do with your time than to cause trouble.
You haven't seen anything yet, fella. We will cause as much trouble as needed, right, guys?
I'm gonna tell
we
you,
will
we got
cause
the
all
vote.
kinds
There's
of
no
trouble
problem
because
with
we
that.
Wait
have
a
the vote.
minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Get out of here. Enough is enough. Get out of here. Take a hike. And now it's time for my roller beef. Okay, maybe this is no big thing, but when I go to a live sporting event, be it baseball, football, or roller games, I want the traditional American junk food that I knew and loved as a kid. I'm talking about a hot dog in this hand, a soda pop in this hand, and a bag of peanuts in my lap. Man, I'll tell you, that's living. But not at the Super Roller Dome. You should see the kind of stuff that they sell there. Frozen daiquiris, nachos, goat cheese pizza, come on. And get this, sushi. My little son, Ollie George, asked me what sushi was, and I told him it was raw fish wrapped in seaweed. Suddenly, he looked like a traffic light turning red, yellow, and then green. Hey, look, if hot dogs, peanuts, and soda pop were good enough for my dad, they're good enough for me and my son. Take the raw fish and put it back in the bait box where it belongs. I'm Wally George, and I welcome your comments.
Here's the guy who can only afford one jacket, DC Getchell. To Rock and Roller Games. Second half coming up.
You are watching the War Network.
Back in the Super Roller Dome, the T-Birds lead Hot Flash 67-54 as the whistle by referee Don Lastra begins the third period. Women skate in the third, the men in the fourth. Only the ones wearing the helmet can score. They're the Jetters. And into the jetway goes Gina Valadares, and behind her another Gina Gogo Gonzalez. Each gets two on the wall of death, and each gets two over the jump. And then Gogo gongs Gina Valadares, and now comes upon rear blocker Sly Fox Vicky McEwen with that broken right arm that's still in a cast.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, Georgia Haas happened to twist that arm.
You see Gogo karaoke around those hot pink jerseys of Hot Flash, and as she gets around each of them, she gets individual points. Nicely skated by Gogo Gonzalez.
I couldn't believe those comments that Georgia Haas made at halftime. Boy, she's a disgusting human being.
T-Birds widen their lead to 16 points now.
For those of you who have just joined us, keep in mind only the Jetters can score. Now those are the folks with the helmets on. There is one Jetter per team, and there's three ways to score. Either on the wall of death, the jump, or by passing individual opponents.
Another 45-second scoring cycle starts. This first lap, remember, all they have to do is work their way through the pack. They're not scoring points yet. They're just getting lined up and building speed for the jetway. There is a whip for the corker, Debbie McCorkle of the T-Birds. there is confusion by Hot Flash. They haven't located a jitter, and now belatedly they do. It's Party Patty Frazier who passes Debbie McCorkle.
That's a tough break. That's one thing you don't want to do, and that is fall when you come off that jump, because if you break an axle, it can be a very costly mistake.
That's an expensive sport, as you see the jetters now trying to get their individual points. Skates, pretty much in this league, run around $400 a piece. If you just buy the wheels for your skates, they cost anywhere from $160 to $200. And if you want to get cute, you can run the cost of skates up to $1,000 or even $2,000. As you see, the lady born on an Indian reservation in Oklahoma, Debbie McCorkle, pull herself up from beyond the rail. And there's a rare sight. Capture the moment. A well-behaved infield.
Very unusual indeed, especially since the team benches are so close together. Fights break out all the time because, I'll tell you, when they're that close, anything can happen.
The helmets are handed off, and the new fresh legs belong to jetters Irish Mary Monahan in the black helmet and Skinny Minnie for the T-Birds in the red helmet.
Nice whip, Chuck.
There goes Skinny Minnie behind her Irish Mary. Look at them sail. 2 points each, and now for the jump.
Oh!
Up high boat, down goes Irish Mary. Skinny Minnie leapfrog, Sly Fox. Another body in her way, and rather than detour, she jumps it as well.
There she goes, Skinny Minnie. Boy, she's coming on strong this year.
Second time in the cycle that Irish Mary gets bopped. And now a whiff from Debbie McCorkle. Skinny Minnie looking for pink hair and pink uniforms to pass. And down goes Poe.
She sends Sly Fox a-trotting.
Sly Fox, who mistakenly washed her uniform and hair in the same load.
Now let's take a look at roller motion as Skinny Minnie comes off the jump. Look at that tremendous momentum as she comes off that jump. And that gives her the opportunity to do her rivet leapfrog play, the one she's become world famous for, and not only once, but twice. And she, Chuck, is coming on so strong this year that I believe she's going to make the All-Star team. And of course, that big game is coming up in just a few weeks.
Well, we talk about the high-tech, hard-body world of roller games. There's the high-tech. 9 enormous monitors for the live house to enjoy both the live action and the replays of this sport.
Uh-oh, and it looks like we have trouble in that infield. Tammy Hansen is down. It looks as though she broke an axle on that skate.
Getting some help from Hot Wheels' Billy Marshall.
Tammy Hansen, not only a skater, but a recording artist. She's been looking for her big television debut for some time. And the War Network said, yes, we'll put you on the air, but Ms. Georgia Haas last week said no, not when my team skates. But now it looks as though Tammy's going to get her big opportunity.
I'm so excited that the network is letting me sing during halftime, and I won't have that witch Georgia Haas there to, you know, make me upset with my performance. I've really been working at it for a long time, and I'm excited about debuting on RollerGames.
And RollerGames is excited about her debuting, and that will occur in 2 weeks. And terrific Tammy gets that talent somewhat genetically. Mom used to sing with the Platters. Remember that group? That was a triple whip for Electric Randy Whitman, who's still off balance because of the speed. She goes down. Irish Mary Monahan sails past her, but then she gets tomahawked by Skinny Minnie, who's not going to let her up, and now Electric Randy resumes the lead.
Skinny Minnie really pulling her weight out there tonight.
Here comes her teammates, and they're going to get bottled up. All of them. Electric Randy can't get past the pink jerseys. In come the teammates for help. Randy reaching to get by, and there, Skinny Minnie dropping all 4 members of Hot Flash, and in the final second of the cycle, Electric Randy picks up a quick 4.
Let's take another look at roller motion as Skinny Minnie makes way for Electric Randy to score. And Chuck, that's what teamwork is all about in this game. Wow, look at that.
Just your basic kamikaze body block by one of the pencils of the league. 105 pounds, Skinny Minnie. And the crowd likes it, and she applauds them.
Those two right there are the quintessential definition of teamwork. And there was my favorite cheerleader, Renee.
We have reached the end of the 3rd period. Let's go to Shelly Jamieson.
Ralph, Ralphie, the curtain may be about to drop on you and the twins. What are you going to do?
I don't know what I'm going to do right now, but this guru and Miss Georgia House and Scholar just really been a pain in the you-know-what, and I don't know. I just feel pretty bad about it.
I don't know. We're going to have to do what they say because that's the rules, but we're not happy about it at all in the least.
How do you feel?
I have to be professional, I guess.
That's a very good attitude. Well, I wish all three of you
Thank you very much. We're going to do something. I don't know what, but something will happen.
Okay, time will tell. We'll hang in there and see what happens to Ralphie and the T-Bird twins. Back to you, Chuck and David.
This will create a virus that'll never seem to end. Next thing you know, Georgia Haas will have players wearing a mask on the track.
Sams has finally crossed the line. T-Birds lead by 17. Before we begin the fourth period, let's look back at the extremely intense competition among these ladies to become a RollerGames cheerleader.
They came from all over Southern California. Supple athletes, beautiful, agile. Over 3,500 young women would compete. Only 8 would become cheerleaders for the new age of RollerGames.
Well, I think the most important thing about the cheerleaders is that they have an incredible level of exuberance and vitality and excitement. You know, we're looking for beautiful women, women who can dance, but their job as a cheerleader is to really keep the crowd going and help the crowd keep their energy up and root for their favorite team.
Shonda Sawyer taught these young hopefuls a specific routine, 1 platoon at a time. These women were broken down into groups of 4 to perform for a distinguished panel of judges.
I'm very intimidated by all the girls. Everybody is very good here in Los Angeles. Great looks and great dancers. The competition is incredible.
And in the dome, the final period begins with Hot Flash 17 points in arrears. Can its men catch the world champion T-Birds in their red, white, and blue? The Jetters, as we open up the fourth period, will be Hot Wheels Billy Marshall. There he is in the black helmet. And Speedy Gonzalez for the T-Birds. Speedy, one legs it off balance and gets 2. So does Billy Marshall on the wall, and they both get 2 on the jump. Oh, and Billy winds up on Speedy, who ricochets off the rail. Then he faces the rear blocking of number 2, Billy Bob Bibbas, whose nickname is BB Blockbuster. Say that 3 times. Kahuna cuts down Billy Bob and now rushes to get ahead of his jetter so he can block for him. And he tags the Icebox, who's a bit groggy. Oh, and his second pass at the jetway. You don't see that often in the same 45-second scoring cycle. Billy Marshall does get another 2 points off the wall. It was worth the gamble.
Chuck, you know, I've noticed that the Icebox has been a bit groggy all night. He has not really been a factor in this game.
94-79 on the LA Gear scoreboard, so Hot Flash has picked up 2 points, and there is long and lanky Cass McEntee. David mentioned that he's nicknamed after Butch Cassidy, and he got that name from his teenage years when for a while in California, he was traveling with a pack of stunt riders, horseback stunt riders, and learned a few tricks himself. Let's see if he can now show you some RollerGames tricks. He's going to get an atomic whip, as they call it, a double whip. And behind him is Speedy Gonzalez.
Boy.
Easy 6 for Cass. He actually dangled a leg over the rail. They each get 2 as they come off the jump. And like a cue ball, Speedy bounces off the rail. That opens it up for Cass if he can get around Billy Bob Bibbas. Can Kahuna help? Yeah, with the tomahawk. So there's a single point for Cass. And another. And another. Ralphie goes off the rail. Now they're tied up. Cass is scoring points, and here comes Hot Flash in this game.
Whoa.
He gets under the low bridge attempt of Icebox. Time runs out in the cycle, and Hot Flash has had a dandy cycle.
Incredible. Cass just absolutely devastated the entire T-Bird lineup during that cycle, and that's why he could be a leading contender for the Rookie of the Year award this year. There are really only 2 other candidates that stick out in my mind, and they are the Rolling Rocker on, that of course is Brian Jacobson on the Rockers, and of course Matt Bickham, Stars and Stripes on the T-Birds.
New Jetters, pretty boy Ben Newberg in the hot pink. Behind him, Speedy Gonzalez. And Gonzalez has to be tired. He is jetting for 3 consecutive cycles, and you don't see that often. He's going to unload on Pretty Boy. And Pretty Boy goes down hard. No padding on the rails, we might mention, but he gets back quickly. Speedy now trying to score points. Hot Flash coming back in this game after trailing in double digits most of the game. Flying hip block by Hot Wheels Billy Marshall. Under 10 seconds in the cycle. A whip from Billy Bob Bibbas, 3 seconds too. He tries to get around Billy Marshall, but those 21 years of experience prohibited.
And Hot Flash has pulled within 2 points, and that means this game is so close that we could go into sudden death overtime, and that means the Gators will come out, and Chuck, that could be devastating.
Just a guess.
Now, with only 2 points, just 2 points, huh? 2 points is nothing in this game, you know that. There is nothing in this game for 2 points, Chuck.
And there's one Valdez Lopez, the happy-go-lucky manager of Hot Flash. And Chuck, he has been training especially Gator Skater all season long. And I think he's looking forward to the possibility of that very controversial sudden death overtime.
Well, he's looking forward to a victory because Hot Flash hasn't won yet this year. So they're thinking victory number 1. They have their top jetter, Hot Wheels Billy Marshall, but so does the T-Bird team. Behind them, Stars and Stripes, Matt Bickham, 6 points and 6 points for both. And over the jump, also 6.
Again.
Down goes Stars and Stripes. Down goes Billy Marshall. He'll try again on Billy Bob Bibbas. And down goes Billy Bob. The Iceman cleans him out.
This one's going to be close.
Bodies everywhere. Icebox is down. Ralphie Valadares is ahead of Kahuna. Can Billy get around him? 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3. There's Billy's attempt, but no. Ralphie nudges him, and that prevents any additional points. However, Billy Marshall and Hot Flash have tied the game with enough time on the scoreboard clock for only one final 45-second scoring cycle.
Call your friends now because we may be bringing out the Gators to finalize this score. We may be going into sudden death overtime.
Here's Billy Marshall celebrating his fine cycle. He has passed the Jetter's helmet to Kahuna. And Ralphie Valadares, the ace relief pitcher, is coming in for the T-Birds. Here we go, final cycle tie game at the moment. Kahuna and Ralphie heading for the wall. Kahuna will be the first one up, and he gets above the 6-point line. Ralphie gets only 2, so Ralphie and the T-Birds are 4 points down. Kahuna falls. Ralphie passes Kahuna. The T-Birds are only 3 points down. He needs some individual points, trying to keep his balance.
Come on, Ralphie.
Time running out of the cycle.
Come on.
T-Birds need 3. There's 1. Now they're down only 2. He gets bypassed, and they're down by a single point. Trying to get around Billy Marshall. He does. The game is tied. 10 seconds left. Ralphie needs more to break the tie. Kahuna. Yes. He gets around him. The T-Birds are going to win it by a total of 3 points.
The living legend lives up to his name, Ralphie Valadares. How in the world can he even consider keeping this man out of the Hall of Fame and off of the track? The sport just will never be the same.
The flame burns hot as ever after 30 years in the business for that guy. It ends 126 to 123. The T-Birds rejoice. Well, let's now go down to the infield and David Sands.
Chuck, I'm here with the T-Bird twins, or maybe I should say the former T-Bird twins. Now one will go to the Maniacs and one to the Violators. And also with me, the owner of the Los Angeles T-Birds, Bill Griffiths Jr. Bill, what do you have to say about this devastating blow?
I just don't know what to say, David. The twins are T-Birds. They're T-Birds through and through. They're red, white, and blue. And for the Maniacs and the Violators to wind up with them, I feel terrible about them. And then the Ralphie thing, it's just like everything's coming down on our head at once.
Well, it's incredible. The league says Ralphie's got to hang up his skates, possibly.
It's possible, but I'm going to hang in there. I have a feeling we can muster enough votes to make something happen for us.
Hey, look, I'm here for me and Drew's property. Greg Cullen.
Property? Unbelievable. We'll keep you posted on this and other developments as they develop. Back to you, Chuck.
Well, meanwhile, David, on the track, the skaters haven't given it up. And there's the icebox delivering the deep freeze to Kahuna. In comes the cavalry to help Kahuna. working. Hot flash everywhere. Somewhere under there is the box. Now he's losing his jersey, being ripped off by Juan Valdez-Lopez.
Chuck, from down here, the way I understand it, that man right there, Juan Valdez-Lopez, was teasing the Icebox about being on probation for the next month, and the Icebox said, "I'll show you."
Next week, if we clear the track, the Maniacs and the Violators. See you then.